Hi, everybody. So this is another, what we've been celebrating Black Indie Authors Day with our virtual Behind the Pen. Typically we would be in person, but due to the Patricia, we're virtual. But I think this is like a good mix up because a lot of the authors who might not have been able to make it to New York are able to come here now and be with us virtually. And today, Sistah Girls, we have two of the dopest authors out here. We have Brookelyn Mosely and Miss Rae Lyse. How y'all doing today, ladies?
Good.
Y'all look beautiful. Y'all skin is flourishing. I mean, like teeth are white. I mean, everybody just looks good. So how has, let's just the big elephant in the room. How have you guys been doing since the pandemic? Like right in the pandemic, just dealing with daily life and then trying to be creative. Right.
Go
ahead. Brooklyn can go first while I think.
I would say that it's different in that everything has to be like virtual. And then when you are in person with certain things, it's like, that's all you can think about, like making sure that you stay healthy. Like I was just telling my husband the other day, I'm like, whenever I go out, it's usually like a checklist. You get the keys, kids, make sure the kids are there. But it's like not everyone have the mask. So if I don't have the mask, it's like everything is thrown off. But before the pandemic, I don't feel like I was someone who went out a lot. I was a little bit of a homebody, so it wasn't that much of a change. And plus, a lot of writing takes place when you're like by yourself, or when it's just you and your laptop. So with that, everything's the same. But I just miss like seeing family and going to events and stuff like that. So I was saying that way, things became different, but still kind of the same.
Rae?
For me, it's kind of been up and down, I think. Like Brookelyn was saying, it's good because you get a lot of writing done, of course, when you're not out and about. But I think that adjustment after being on lockdown for so long and going back out has been difficult for me. It's been weird at readjusting to crowds and stuff like that. So that's the thing for me. And of course, I only worked from home for like a month during the pandemic. So I've been going to work, wow. But yeah, so I've been going to work, so that didn't change that much. But
you're from Texas,
been a little weird.
So y'all a little different. Like New York City, we shut all the way down. Yeah. I feel like Texas never really quite. They shut down kind of sort of. We were just like stuck in the house. Yeah, we were like stuck.
They closed everything. Yeah.
So moving on a little bit from writing and trying to be creative in the pandemic. What was the first time or the first moment that you realized, what, I think I could do this writing thing. And not only can I write, I'm actually going to publish a book. And then I'm going to do it indie and not try to do the whole traditional route. Like, what was the thought? What was that? Tell me the moment, the story, the person who gave you the push of encouragement. What was it? Set the scene for the people.
I don't think I had like a specific person that gave me a push of encouragement. I was doing a lot of reading myself. So I had stopped reading traditionally published authors a long time ago. I don't know, I was gravitating more towards Black indie authors. And so like I knew it could be done like on my own. And then I'm a DIY type of person anyways. I never thought to myself, I'm going to try to be traditionally published. I just knew it was a type of story that I wanted to read and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I was like, I think I'm going to try to write it. It took me a while, but I did it. And it was a lot of trial and error. It's still trial and error. So.
So for me, I did not know what I was doing. I was put that out there. I had no idea what I was doing. I had written the story. The first story that got published wasn't even like a full-length book. It was literally just like a short story, which now I know that it's categorized as a short story. It was No Fraternizing, was part one. And I had gotten the push from my husband who was like, yeah, just publish it, because I'm thinking you have to go through the whole process of getting published, query and then get an agent and et cetera, et cetera. So when I posted it, when I published it, I just thought that you just post it and Amazon would just take care of the rest, you just leave it there. They're just going to promote it for you, just go ahead. And I posted it and I remember it was just like crickets. I was like, what went wrong here? So then I remember I took a year off and I read up on everything that could be published about self-publishing. And I was like writing around that time, and I was realizing all of the mistakes that I made, because I feel like a lot of the things I do is usually just throw it against the wall and see what sticks, which I would not recommend it, but for me, I wouldn't. But for me, that's just how I usually like learn how to do something like the hard way. I'm trying to get myself out of that habit, because it doesn't always have to be the hard way. But yeah, so then I after I learned everything that I needed to learn, and there's still not all that you need to learn, there's just still more to learn. But I took the knowledge that I had and I started to put it towards the projects that I would put out. And I started studying marketing. I started studying different aspects of social media, because you would just think it's just these things, right? But it's not. Like there is, like you have to like read up on it and you have to test it out and see what works and see what doesn't work. But the point is to keep trying to see what works and what doesn't. So I still feel like there's so much more to learn to it, because it's constantly changing. But yeah, literally, I'm just figuring it out.
And it's always evolving.
Yeah,
always.
everything is changing, especially with social media.
And being independent, yeah, you have to constantly keep up. And that's where I kind of struggle with, is because it's not enough hours in the day. Like I can't work my day job.
You said you don't have to, you have to keep up, but like I feel like with your first release, you came out swinging.
Yeah.
It was very like your presence was known, and it felt very it felt refreshing, but it felt like this wasn't your first time on this like little merry-go-round. So tell us how that process was, because you know, so many times I see authors like, you know, I'm trying to get people to read my work, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, and I'm like, you came out and it was just like your book now got like over, I think 300 reviews, the first one. And so I'm just like, how did you like kind of put yourself out there? And then also when you started seeing yourself get the attention, making sure that you didn't get stagnant or feel the pressure, because you wrote the follow-up to your first book rather quickly. It wasn't like you just disappeared for a year and came back. So how did you make sure that you said, okay, I got this, I know people are now watching me, it's not just like me writing in my back, you know, in my room or like wherever where nobody's so pressured. Now it's just like, when is the next book coming out, girl? So what was that like?
Well, first, I appreciate that. Thank you. Really and truly, like Brooklyn was saying, a lot of it was research. I mean, I don't like going into anything unprepared. Like I'm always that person where like, okay, I have to sit down, I have to make sure I plan everything out. Not until I go crazy, but just so I kind of know what to expect. So like I knew I was gonna hit publish and nobody was really gonna read it, because I didn't have a presence online. I wasn't in any Facebook groups for readers or anything like that. So I knew for a minute there, like I wasn't gonna have any readers. And I was okay with that. You know, I had already put in my head, like, okay, if nobody reads it, it's okay. Just keep writing, because I mean, essentially you're writing for yourself anyways. It is what it is. So then Keisha Irvin had read it, and then it started picking up steam. You know, people started talking about it. And so really it was just me, I guess, engaging with people. I didn't have a Facebook. Somebody from another book club, from Ayana from Bourbon Street Bookers, reached out to me and she helped me get on Facebook, because I was not a Facebook person. So she helped me set up a Facebook page.
Shout out to Ayana.
So then yes, right. So then I started engaging with them and engaging with people on Facebook and Instagram. So really it was just that back and forth. And I had already kind of started writing the end game. So I really didn't feel that pressure then. It was a kind of just like, okay, let me just keep writing, you know, let the first book marinate, let people keep reading it. Because I mean, even now I still haven't touched a lot of people I can touch. So I mean, it's still a lot of work to be done. So I was writing, letting it marinate, and I didn't feel any pressure then. So I was still writing for me, just doing whatever. So then I came to a point where I was like, okay, so I need to wrap up the end game. So I wrapped it up. And then I was like, okay, I think I can release it soon, because the end game, it wasn't difficult for me to write. You know how some books kind of just come out of you? It was just one of those things. It wasn't like Saving Sunflower. It took me a year to write it. It was easy. So really, I didn't feel the pressure then. I think now with the third book, I'm kind of feeling the pressure. Like it's been getting a little difficult, writer's block here and there. And I feel people kind of like, okay, what are you doing? Like, I'm writing. I'm trying. So just to be transparent, I do feel the pressure now.
So how do you cope with it to make sure that you're just like not listening to the noise, because now at this point people are telling you what characters they like, or I wish such and such would get their own book, and then it's like, wait, dang, should I write a book for this person? So how do you make sure that you're, and this goes for both Brookelyn, because I feel the same way about your writing as well, how do you guys make sure that you're writing in a direction where you want to go to and not what you think the readers might like or what's going to be popular? Because now that you guys have your own fan base, your own readers, I mean, yeah, you want to keep getting new ones, but you have like a tribe that is starting to say, well, I'm hyped when Rae comes out, I'm hyped when Brookelyn releases. So it's just like, well, dang, I don't want to like that to infiltrate how I write and when I write and my speed. So what type of schedules, mantras, what do y'all do to make sure that y'all are focused? Brookelyn, you can answer first.
Oh gosh, I still get scared when I release a book. I don't know about this one. With every single book, I want to delete it. Like, honestly, I want to delete every single book before it comes out, because I'm like, I don't know how they're going to feel about this. And I don't know how they're going to, and I only have those like, those, I guess you call them gremlins or whatever, like the doubts come in after the book is created. Like when I'm creating it, it's perfect. Like it's paradise here, you know, like some candles, you know, I'm writing, oh, this sounds good. This sounds great. You know, it's perfectly fine until like the first draft is usually not what I like. I have to go and I have to rework some stuff. But then like leading up to the time that it's released, I have to like remember what it was like creating it, understanding that the vision behind it, the foresight that I had when I was creating it, that this is something that I enjoy. Because if I enjoy reading it, if I love it, then I'm going to release it. If I don't love it, if I'm not enjoying it, then it has to sit with me for a little bit longer, or it needs not be released. Because I have like 3 unpublished novellas and novels that I'm just not in love with and that I will not release. I don't even discuss it. This is the first time I'm talking about it. I won't even discuss it. Like this is the first time I'm actually like saying like I have those that are unpublished, but I will not release it until I can say that I actually enjoy, you know, stuff editing before sending it to the editor. Because if I do not enjoy it, then I can't say that someone else will enjoy it, and I can't promote it with confidence knowing that it'll be enjoyed as well. But that nervousness, that concern, it's like always there. But I kind of have to like pep talk myself. Like, remember, we had this conversation. It's good. It's fine. You made sure that the storyline is cohesive in a way that would be relatable with people who's reading it. Like, you just have to trust the process and just, you know, release it. But, and I'll say this, that whenever you get like and this is a honest moment right now, when you get like that negative review, there's just like that moment of like all the doubts coming in, like, see, I told you, you were not supposed to put that in there. But then, you know, I know that from when I hit the publish button that I was sure when I read through it, when I had at least one beta reader read it, that the way that I wanted to connect the story that I wanted to tell was told. And that's just like, when I just have to be like, all right, you're entitled to your opinion. I don't even belong in this review section right here. I'm not even supposed to be here, but you know, I accept whatever comes after that.
That makes sense, because I feel like it's hard. That's like, you know, because a lot of people, they don't, other writers or other, like, if you're a writer for like a magazine or a blog, you don't get necessarily negative feedback as immediate as you guys get it. And in a way where it's like, dang, they just did. And then they not only sometimes they talk about the work, they might take it a step further, sorry, and then go for the author. And it's just like, well,
oh yeah,
those are fighting words. So that's the next thing, because you guys are newer, how do you, or what advice would you give to keep authors to keep writing and not to get into that mental space of being doubtful? Because Rae, you've written 2 books and they've been really, really great, and they gotten really great reviews. But then at the same time, I'm sure you've gotten at least 1 or 2 reviews that weren't like, you like, well, dang, did you read what I wrote? Or, you know, it wasn't just like, I didn't mean it that way. And how to not fall in that trap of, you know, doubting your own writing skills. And it's just like, they just didn't like the story. They're not attacking me personally. Like, it's not an attack on my human existence in the world, even though sometimes they can be a little extra.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie, it's difficult. It's because I'm new. I only have 2 books. So like, when you put your heart and soul into something and then you see somebody come and they're like, They just say something off the wall. And I'll be transparent, okay? There was a review, I think, that someone posted on Goodreads where they called my first book, I think it was like Unnecessary Foolishness. I read it and I was like, oh my God, like I almost cried.
Oh.
Yeah, so I mean, really and truly, I put that, and I went and I talked to my husband about it. So instead of me like responding online or saying, I'll just go vent to him about it, and I kind of just I move on because you have to.
Yeah.
Like that one review is not gonna dictate your career as a writer.
Yeah.
It is what it is. There was something in the story that resonated with them or didn't, and so they felt the need to say that. So, I mean, and I think I've said this before, I approach negative reviews in like 3 different ways. You know, if it's something that people are saying in a lot of reviews, then it's something that I need to work on as an author. You know, if it's a disrespectful review, then that was something, you know, that there was something in the story that they read that triggered them and they're not emotionally mature enough to convey it in words. So instead they decided to be disrespectful. So that's something that they have to work on, not me.
Yeah.
So, you know, it is
like
what it is.
That's the best approach to take to it, because I feel like a lot of times you don't want to overstep the boundary of looking unprofessional, but at the same time, it's like, I'm a human. It's like, if people tell me to take my raggedy ass, and it's like, wait, hold up.
Right. And I don't think people understand it. You're right.
My personal ass being raggedy.
Yeah.
So I've seen like real reviews and I'm just like, dang, that was harsh, or dang, like, you know, like show a little grace, or just know that this is the person on the other side of this, like putting their heart and their art out there. That's really hard to do just off the rip. Like good review, bad review, just saying like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna go until completion is something that not a lot of people want to do, but not everybody does. So I'm happy that y'all have like a better like way to do it, especially when you're newer, and that you like in Brooklyn, you're not new technically, but you're still, I still put you in the new space.
I always feel new.
I put you in the new space because I'm like, you're still old. Yeah, and you always come up with really creative ways to market yourself. So that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you. Marketing is very tough. Every author, for the most part, that I've ever like come encounter with, they'll say, you know, this is not that hard, that's not that hard, but marketing, I got to be on social media, I got to do this, I got to do that. But you've been, I don't know if like people don't be looking at the Instagram, but I'm like, yo, she got like short film. She got like boxes with earrings. She got moving stuff. And I'm just like, where is she? She just in the cut, like dropping stuff. So my thing is, how did you like say, you know, I'm going to market in a way that is genuine to and authentic to who you are as an author, but also not afraid to kind of skip out on the blueprint that maybe is more traditional and indie romance, indie, like that world of promoting yourself, because there is kind of like a rubric that you can see on Instagram when it comes to marketing your work. And I think you color outside the lines a lot, but in a great way.
And again, like there's some like nervousness that goes with that as well, but I usually do it because I genuinely enjoy it. Like I find like some type of fun in it, like in getting into the making trailers and stuff like that. Like I kind of submerge myself in YouTube University watching like
I like that.
As I'm like doing it, I'm like, oh, let me see what button what button did you push, to just see how I can bring the ideas in my head like out in a way that I can see it. Because, you know, sometimes you can have like an idea and then you're actually doing it and it's just not working out in the way that you wanted to. So I kind of just find the fun in it and like how to enjoy myself. But then there's always that nervousness, like this is very different. And I don't want to be too different where it's just like, what the hell? Where's she going with this? But I try to, so this is what I do. Like whenever I work on a story, I just like become like a vessel. Whatever is coming through as I write it, I hope this is making sense. I kind of just build upon whatever is blossomed while I am creating. So in the direction of like earrings and jewelry, I don't know where that came from, but I was just like, let me just go with it. I don't know where it's gonna lead me, but let me just go with it because this kind of ties into kind of given like a full experience of like the book. Because to me, you know, the characters before they are actually out on paper, they're like living in my head. You know, they're like in that. I'm not to sound crazy, but they are like, it's like a character hotel. Like they're checked in. You know, I'm learning everything that I'm learning about them, and then I'm getting it down on paper, and then they're still there. But then I'm kind of like, I want to see how I can make like the readers have more of a connection, to be more, you know, involved in the story. And then I have like these different
I always say it's like
ideas.
McDonald's. It's like, because marketing, I love marketing. I love social media. And it's like McDonald's and the kid with the Happy Meal. Like they go to McDonald's. McDonald's is a staple, but the Happy Meal is what you leave with, walk away with, right? Even after you still have the toy to remind you, like, dang, I need to go back to McDonald's, or like making it ring true. So when you said that, it made sense. It didn't go over my head. It made sense.
I'm like, I hope what I'm saying is
translated. And I think that you do it well. And I think that a lot of times, I think that's encouragement to other authors who might want to, you know, step outside the box and do something different, that it can be done and it can be received well. So yeah, I like that. And keep it up, because I'm just like, girl, she got these little videos, she got earrings, and then it rings true to, like, you know, being from where you are and the characters and stuff like that. So when you're writing, right, how do you manage the flow, right? Because there's a beginning, middle, and an end, and you know that these characters some kind of way got to figure it out. How do you make sure that you're giving a full story without also making sure that you create moments where people don't feel like, dang, this book, we still here? That you put those highs and those lows and those interaction at the right space, so to have like its own rhythm, and then also creating a rhythm that's your own, so that people, when they read your book, they can say, well, when I go to read Rae or Brookelyn, I know I'm going to get this type of speed, or I know that I'm gonna feel the excitement here, or you know what I mean? It creates its own rhythms. How do you do that?
Okay, here I'll go. I say when I first write the first draft, personally, honestly, speaking of my own self, if I'm speaking I'm not me and I just got a hold of my first draft, the first draft is horrible. Okay, the first draft has so many holes. There's so many things missing. You know, I say that, and this is so interesting because the me when I the year after I published, during that time, when I was creating, I was like 2016, and 3 years in that space, I hated self-editing, where I had to go through the manuscript and read, pour over every word and pour over every scene to make sure that it makes sense, and make sure that there's the proper breadcrumbs throughout the manuscript, so that everything makes sense later on. I would say getting comfortable in the editing and being honest and saying, does this make sense? What is missing? And not glossing over because you're tired of reading the same manuscript over and over again, because a writer is reading a manuscript a lot of times. And at some point you just get, I can speak for myself, I get tired of reading the same thing over and over again. However, I'm brutally honest with myself. If there's something missing, I'm going back and I'm going to figure out what is missing. And it's something that's just going to continue to nag at me until I fix it. With my last, I had to go back and I was adding chapters to the story when it was done. And I was so frustrated with myself, but I was I can't just not add those, because there's going to be questions. There's still spaces that are not making sense. There's motivations that are not being clarified. Why are the characters doing this? Why do they feel this way? Why haven't they changed up until this point? So I had to go back and add chapters, and then I had people read it, and I had to honestly hear what they had to say about it, because which is also we are brave. Okay, hug a writer. If you know a writer or author, give them a hug. They're brave.
Because it's hard out here.
Yeah, we are literally showing something. When you create something when it's just you, everything sounds great when it's just you, but then you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to listen to the honesty too. When people read it, because they're not in your head. Yeah, for you, yeah, it makes sense because you know everything that's going on. Yeah. So you know everything that's happening. You know why this person did. Their backstory, because you spend time with the characters. But then you're now creating this package that you're going to give to somebody else, and they have to open it and know everything that's in there, and they're not going to want to piece things together once they get it. So I would say just getting comfortable with the editing process and being honest with yourself and seeing what's missing, and then going in and like filling in what's missing, but not like to the point of like, that makes no sense. This is like, and then that makes no sense, and this is taking forever. So you have to know when to cut and remove something. That's another thing. Oh gosh, like deleting chapters and stuff. That was something that I was not comfortable with once upon a time, but I have like, I can delete a chapter if it don't make sense because I'm not dealing with it later. You know what I'm saying? Like you just gotta go from there. So yeah, just, you know, being honest with yourself, which I think as writers, we are brave. Like the type of things that a writer goes through to create a project, it is moments of reflection, moments of like honesty. And then when you like present this project, people, you're like pretty much being like a person that like, I don't even know, but you're showing something that you've created in solitude and hoping that they see what you see, or they see the vision that you have, and you know, relating to it. Because that's the one thing that you want to do. You want to create something that's relatable. You know, someone can take something from, they can learn from, and see themselves in, or see someone that they know in. You know, so yeah.
Right. Do you want me to
a whole lot?
For me, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm new, so my writing process is shaky. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not a plotter. I always tell people I will literally roll over in the morning and start writing, or throughout the day. I write on my phone a lot, or like throughout the day I'll write something down. But I've got to do better. So that's me telling myself that and just admitting that out loud. Like I really need to do better. But I think one thing that I've gotten known for is that I write slow burns. So I didn't realize it until I started writing, but I really, really love slow burn romances. And like, if something happens too fast, like in the editing process, I'm like, hold up. No, this is happening way too quick. Like things need to happen, discussions need to be had first before like say the first kiss or something like that. So I think now people are realizing that I'm more of a slow burn author. I think with Saving Sunflower, you know, they realize like, oh, you know, this is a slow burn. And then I've heard people say the end game is kind of like a slow burn too, even though to me, it moved a lot faster than Saving Sunflower. This third book that I'm writing now, I will say that I think it's a slow burn too. You know, right now, slow burns are just my thing. I think, you know, eventually I'll teach myself how to write shorter stories and novellas. But right now, you know, slow burns are like my thing. And I definitely agree with Brookelyn about the self-editing thing. But for me, like, I am hard on myself. I don't care. I will cut and slash something up in a minute. I'll delete something. Like, I will not hesitate. I'll be like, girl, what are you talking about? Delete. I'll be like, this doesn't make sense. Delete it. Let's change this. Because to me, like, I always have that mindset, like, stuff can be changed. You know, it's not permanent. But for me, it's also bad because I find myself like, it could be like the day before I publish and I'm going back and like changing stuff. I'm like, oh shoot, I need to stop doing it. So I have some stuff I still need to learn and work on, but I'm always researching and reading books like on character development, developing storylines, you know, plot holes and stuff like that, you know, because definitely as a writer, you read your manuscript like a million times. Like I always tell people, like when they reach out to me for advice, like you need to be so familiar with your manuscript that you know like what chapter this thing happened in. Like you will be sick of it by the time you hit publish, but I guarantee you will have something that you're proud of.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of like, you know, you try to research and you do all this, how have you been able to find both of you camaraderie within your own genre of other authors? Have you had that? Are you now like familiar with other authors? And have you built that tribe of people for yourself? Like not the readers per se, but like the people to keep you saying, or somebody be like, girl, how do you do this? Or I can't figure this out. Have you started to find that? Because you're new, Rae. And Brooklyn, do you have that?
Yeah, I do. Like if I have like a question or by the way, like before I published the first story that I published, I was in like authors' inboxes and no one was responding. No one was replying. So for me, like if I have a question or if like an author has a question, like my DMs are usually full of like other authors asking questions and me making sure to respond honestly and truthfully with what it is that I know. I don't feel like I don't see that it's necessary to like keep information. If you have a question about it, I'm going to tell you. I want for us all to win, because when one author gets through, they're going to hold that door open for another author, whether they realize it or they don't. Like one indie author on a list gets another indie author on that list, because once someone reads that indie author's book, they're going to want to go and explore other indie author books. Okay, especially the indie authors who are publishing today. Saving Sunflower is an incredible book. Like, I love that book. The indie authors are, I'm not coming for traditional authors, but indie authors are doing a damn good job, you know, creating storylines on their own, creating characters that are relatable, creating books that are relatable and really good, better than a lot of other books that are read that are not indie. I feel like the indie community is extremely supportive. Like, we're retweeting, we are sharing, we are reading each other's books, we are leaving reviews, we are recommending, looking for the word, recommending other author books. Like, the indie community is doing a fantastic job. And then when you go on Amazon and you see the like different categories and stuff like that, like indie authors are ruling. Like 1 through 100, you're seeing a whole bunch of like indie books, and that is because, and I'm not saying it's mainly because, but it is because that the indie author community, Black indie author community in particular, are extremely supportive, and we're just like, we gotta toot the horn a little bit. Indie authors are doing a really great job. Like, we're telling really great stories with storylines that are really good and with covers that look really great, you know, and with because what it used to be was that, you know, you wouldn't read an indie author's book because it's like littered with grammar and it doesn't speak like the Queen's English and all this other stuff. And it's just like, I can read a book, I understand what it is, what's being read, the language that is being used is language that I would use with my friends, and it's a story that is like tight, like a really good, we're doing a great job. I would say. And I feel where it's going, where we're moving towards, because I came across a list of I don't remember what site. I think it was The Root. It maybe was The Root. I don't remember what, but one of those like websites where like most of the books that were mentioned as recommendations were like indie. It was like probably like 1 or 2 traditionally published books. And I think that says a lot.
Yeah. Right?
Agreed. Definitely. I think I started to find my tribe. Thank God. Like I said before I was published, I wasn't on social media. So like I said, nobody knew me. So I mean, I wasn't expecting a whole lot. I wasn't expecting nobody to roll out the red carpet for me and nothing. So definitely after joining Facebook and being active on Instagram, like I love meeting other authors. My bookshelf is filled to capacity with indie books. I didn't used to buy paperbacks whenever I would read. I was strictly like a Kindle person, but now I'm getting into paperbacks. So definitely ordering paperbacks for my other author friends. And it feels really neat to say that, you know, that I have author friends now. Or even that, you know, authors that I used to read and enjoy, like they know about me. Like Nia Forster, I love Nia Forster. And like for her to see her pop in whenever I had my book chat in the Sistah Girls Book Club, like fall out. I really love Nia Forster. I always fangirl over her. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, just seeing, you know, being friends with her on Facebook and Instagram is like a really, really cool thing. But I'm definitely like Brooklyn, like when people hop in my inbox and ask me questions, I am transparent. I will share everything, any type of advice you need. I give people my email because, you know, I've gotten messages everywhere, like Goodreads, different places. And like, whenever somebody reaches out to me and say, oh, you know, I read your book and it inspired me to follow my dreams. And now I want to finish writing that story that I started writing years ago, or I want to start writing again. Like that is like the ultimate accomplishment to me. And like, I will go out of my way to help them with whatever it is that they need. So I always tell people that all the time, you know, and then I'm a helper by nature. So.
Yeah, I like that. So one thing about Black love and romance, because I feel like Rae, you write urban / Black contemporary romance, and Brooklyn, you write Black contemporary romance. Am I getting this right? Which I both nod and agree. We like, it's so hard when it comes to like within one genre, there's so many subgenres, and something might have an urban element, but it's like, no, I'm still writing Black contemporary romance. And it's like, it's all the way around. Y'all write any and everything, which is great. But Black love and romance is everywhere, and then it's nowhere at the same time. Meaning it's in our films, it's in our shows, but on a grand scale, it's not as present. So how do you think Black romance, urban romance authors are actually helping to change that? Because like if you go on Instagram, like as much as you can see like Black love pages, it's like 3 or 4 times as many like bashing like guys and Black women and Black men. And it's always seemed like, I always say when I get on Instagram, it's like, dang, who's fighting today? Either we're fighting about who's not picking up a tip, or we fighting about somebody calling somebody what this, or you're like, what's the critique that you should be to be married or whatever. So I'm just like, so we see Black love sometimes on Instagram, but at the same time, it's like it always seems like we're in a fight. So I'm like, well,
that's true.
I want to fight with y'all today. Can we just be fine, like normal? So how do you think like Black romance or urban romance in like Black literature is helping to change that, to change the narrative?
I think just by showing that, as Black people, we are not just like, we can't be placed in one box or one clump. You have people who write urban paranormal romance. I mean, like my book, like you said, is contemporary with a blend of urban and, heavy romance. It's so many different genres out there, within Black romance, and just showing, that Black people come in all different, personalities, different interests. It's so many different, parts of us, and I feel like sometimes when people hear urban romance, they have this thing in their head where they think, oh, like, I don't read urban romance, or, it's so trashy and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, have you really sat down and looked at what's available in urban romance? It's so much out there to explore. And I feel like also, in our genre, we go hard for each other. Like, we will promote each other to death, and I love that. Like, if I were to go on Facebook right now and say, can y'all recommend me, like a paranormal romance with a happily ever after ending, like,
and there'll be like 10 posts coming down.
It'll be 10 people underneath that post with however many of that exact romance, and they're all by Black authors. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I would say I think that I don't remember who I was discussing this with, where with Black romance, I feel like we're bringing like the Black woman out as like the best friend who's just there to like give advice, and we're making her more of like the center of like being wooed, like she's being soft, which is like something that we can be. We don't have to stick by this whole strong Black woman thing. We are that as well. However, we have different facets and different elements to us as well. I find that Black romance, what I like about the Black romance today is that there's just not one type of protagonist. Like, the protagonists are very different, and that allows for readers to see themselves with in these characters. And I just think that representation matters. So if you're seeing or if you're reading or you're seeing on covers, like, I love the fact that the covers that we see, especially a lot with Black women on the covers of these romance novels, where it's just, and then like these covers just ended up on like for like the world to see, in places for the world to see. God, what's her name? Kennedy Ryan, I saw a post of hers where she had like her cover on in Times Square, I think it was. Like
I've seen that too. Yeah.
The fact that like that's something, and it's not, and let me just say this, like, it's not important for the gaze of others to to make valid what and who we are. However, like where it was posted, like showing like Black love be
at the center,
pretty much,
at the forefront,
exactly,
biggest, like the center of everything. I mean,
exactly.
Not to toot New York City's own horn, but beat. Like, if you get your billboard there, it's like, I think
Yeah.
everybody took a moment and was like, wow. When I saw,
Yeah.
I was like,
It was really incredible.
it was a
And I
moment.
love to see
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
It
I
was a
love to
moment.
see that. Like that was great. That was great. And especially to see, as we're discussing, you know, how to bring Black romance to like the forefront. Black man, Black woman, you know, embracing each other on this cover in this, you know, in such a, as opposed to seeing us go like at each other, which is like even more prominent. Like you see that a lot, like where it's like, but to see like that, God, what is the word I'm looking for?
I mean, honestly, to see it on that scale and just to have it be normal, and it looked very authentic, and it wasn't like a place, and it didn't look like, oh, why is this here? It was like, no, it's here for a reason. Like, and if you don't know, you can know and learn about it. So I think that was just dope. All the way around. I agree with you, Brooklyn. And then also just to add to what you guys both said, I think it also makes it I hate this word too, but it normalizes, you know, that a Black woman can be not only just gentle, but to be sought after and to be like chased and to be wanted and to be like the cream of the crop. Because I feel like like I said, when you come on Instagram and social media, it always make it seem like, you know, I mean, I know we say it, Black woman is the most disrespected, but it's like after I was like, dang, I don't want to be the most disrespected today. Like, golly, like, hey, I get it, but dang.
It gets exhausting.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to see this today. Like, let me see something more uplifting. So I think that when you guys are writing, it's just like, that's not what it is. And it's like, you guys can have difficulty, Black women and Black men can have difficulty, and we could have disagreement, and we could fall in love and fall out of love, but still have respect. And I think that's one thing that both of you guys, when I read your work, it's still like a respect. It's not like totally like, dang, he just OD'd on that girl, or she just OD'd on him. It's like, you know, you have a moment, it passes, and y'all have some more, you know, moments that go after it. But I feel like that's another quality that I feel like both you guys are like putting out there, and I think the genre as a whole. So what's one other genre, what's a genre other than what you write in that you would currently like to give a try, that your readers might not expect, that you would be like, skirt skirt, let me go head over here?
I would say, which I kind of like, I like dabbled in it for a little bit, like suspense. Like I want to do like a like purely like suspense type, like who done it type of story where like twists and turns, like by the time you close the book, you're like, oh my God, whoa, that was that was a literal like literary movie. But I would say like a suspense, like just suspense. Although I love romance and I love reading romance and I love writing romance, but I would love to write like some type of suspense. Nothing like gory or anything. I can't do that. I can read like the most. I can read just about anything, but like gory type of things like that. I can't do. Like my mind is too animated for that. But like suspense, yeah.
Oh, that's a tough question. I agree with Brooklyn about suspense. I also, weirdly enough, I like true crime. I don't even know how I would pull that off or how I would even pull off a crime novel, but I mean, I enjoy reading it sometimes. So.
But you're like the meme, because I'm the same way. I'm just like the meme is so true. It's like, oh, women go and watch like Criminal Minds and stuff to like decompress and to like, like relax. Like, what are you watching, Criminal Minds? When it's like, what? I'm relaxing, you know? So it's like, I get it. I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah. When I tell you I was just in my living room watching First 48 to relax.
Yes. It's like to decompress. Like, why are you watching the First 48 though?
It calms me.
Yeah, it calms me down and it refocuses me. So, all right, part of being, we touched on this a little bit, but part of being a creative is also, and being in business for yourself, people don't realize like after you put out the book, there's a business side to it. It's not just like write the story and then, you know, give it out and it's just going to multiply and everything else. It's still like the marketing, it's the money, it's the accounting, it's the taxes, it's all of that. So what's one thing that you would tell other authors to get it in check before it checks you? It could be one thing or two things, but what's that one thing you're like, okay, I wish I would have knew this about the business side, and I'm going to share it with you guys now. Go ahead.
I would say definitely copyright your stories. Just, you know, make sure you handle your business, because you don't want to find out what if that time comes. So make sure you copyright your stories. I don't know what else. Yeah, I would say copyright your stories. Um, make sure that you're not using things in the book that might get you a lawsuit. I guess like defaming like a real life restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and song lyrics, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it so far. I hope I don't learn the hard way.
For me, I would definitely say don't wait until the last minute for like the money and business affairs part. Like, I don't know what I was thinking, but I really wasn't expecting to earn any money from writing. So like I waited a long time like to get a business account and stuff like that. And I really shouldn't have, because you want to keep those expenses separate. And like over the summer, I went to my first event. I went to the kickback in Atlanta, and I realized, shoot, I need like a business credit card, like I need a business account. Like when I tell you I was running trying to get all this stuff down because I'm a procrastinator. So just keeping all of my expenses separate, having separate accounts for everything, and just realizing, all the crap I have to buy to run a business. Like if I'm selling signed copies of my book, okay, how are you going to ship them to people? So I need to pay for postage. I need a scale to weigh everything. I need packaging.
Oh yeah.
How are people going to pay me? Different stuff like that, and just informing an LLC or whatever it is that you want to form to keep, that separate from your personal assets. So just different stuff like that. So I would say definitely, if you're thinking about, publishing or you just published, start doing that stuff now because it's going to come at you fast and you're going to be like, why didn't I do this? Now I'm having to book plane tickets and do this and do that. So
Yeah, those were both great things, and I think a lot of times people don't even look that far out. They just like, I just want to finish the book. I just want to get the book out there. But then it's like once it's out there, you start making waves and like everything. You don't think about events. You don't think about this. You don't think about that. But I think that was both dope. So yeah, both have. I'm gonna just assume you, Rae, you've been working on the World Railroad with your new story, and Brookelyn, you could tell us about what you got coming out and what you got going on. So let's see. I know you, if y'all feel like dropping a flex bomb, feel free. Right.
Right now, I'm looking to. I gave myself a goal for the remainder of this year and all of next year to finish out the Love is Cure series. So I'm working on book 4 right now, which is Envy. And I want to just finish that series out because I have all of the story ideas, but like I keep getting different story ideas that keep on coming in and taking a spot, and I can't do that anymore because everyone starts asking me, so when is the next one coming out? When is the next one coming out? So this one is supposed to come out during the fall. However, I don't know if the fall is going to be kept. But definitely book 4 will be out this year, and I'm looking to finish off that series. And I think I have one more book from my Forbidden series that I'm looking to have done by the end of this year, but out like during the start of next year. So yeah, so right now, book 4 of Envy I'm working on. And y'all wish me luck, because Lord.
Sending you all the luck in the world.
Yeah, right?
All the vibe.
You brave girl, you can do it. Rae?
For me, I'm just finishing up the final book in the Sun series. So after this book, the Sun series will be finished. I'm done. I'll be moving on to another crop of people.
So last question, and then you guys can tell us where people can find you, your websites, all that good jazz. Where do you see your writing career going in like the next 2 to 5 years? Like, where do you want it to be at? Like, do you want to keep writing more books? Do you have a cutoff point? Do you want to go into movies? Do you want to just be like, I want to do playwright after this? Where do you see your writing career going, or where do you want it to go?
I want a media company. Like I would like to be like that, to assist other indie authors to create their own books. Like I would love to do like courses and classes. I would like to have my own KDP. I want to print my own books because I don't know how KDP works. To be honest. No one knows the secret sauce. It's like the thing. So I would like to have my own KDP. I would like to not my own KDP, but just like my own system. I don't know how to put the name
that you
to
can
it.
write to print, basically, that you can write
right.
to. You don't have
yeah.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like to have my own printing press as well. And I would definitely love to have at least one of my books turned into a movie, which would mean I would have to study screenwriting or script writing. So I want to learn it all, even if I don't necessarily get to do it. But for certain, I want to print. I want to have my own printing house where I give books straight from me, where I know that I can rely on the way the system is. And if it breaks down, I know that it still falls on me, so that's where I would like to be at there.
Right.
That's a good idea. I like that.
I like it too, because I sure will go to you before I go to, I'm just saying,
Yeah. I mean, Amazon has a monopoly on it right now.
Yeah. Oh man.
There's no way else to go somewhere else, and anywhere else is like it's so much more money. Like printing, it don't have to be books, it could be magazines, it could be notebooks, pads. It's so like so much.
Yeah.
For me, I think my ultimate goal is to just walk into a bookstore and have my book on a bookshelf in an actual store, like speaking it into existence. This is the second time I said this today. I was in Walmart earlier, and my husband was like, "Oh, look, your book is gonna be there one day," and I'm like, "Yes, we are putting that out there.
Yes,
like, that's what I want.
Claim it. Yeah.
Yes, I'm claiming it definitely."
I hear that, and the thing is, y'all are both moving in the right direction. Y'all making strides in Black literature, and I'm so happy that you guys took time out your day to spend time with me and talk and chit chat. This will be for Black Indie Authors Day, and it's also virtual behind the pen. And I'm just so happy that you guys are pushing your pen. You're Black women who are like opening doors and giving other writers inspiration to keep going, because they like want to be you, even if you don't feel like it. It's somebody right now like, dang, she did it, I can do it. Or, she's out here pouring stuff out there, then I can do it too. So just know that, girl, y'all got tribes of people rooting for you. And again, thank you. And let people know where they can find you at. I mean, we're gonna let them know when we post it, like I'm just saying.
Well, I'm on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter under Brookelyn Mosely. And brooklynmosely.com is where I have my little home on the web. And buybrooklynmosely.com is where I got my stuff at. So, yeah. Under the handle Brookelyn Mosely, with an E, because I know some people do the Brooklyn without the E.
Yeah.
Remember the E. So yeah, that's where I can be found on the internet.
I'm on Instagram and Facebook. My Instagram is Rae Lyse Books. I'm on Facebook as Rae Lyse. My website is raelysebooks.com. And of course, you can email me at raelysebooks@gmail.com.
All right. Thank you, ladies, so much again. And this was great. This is great. This is great.
Thank you.